You'll never make money until you stop thinking like you're broke. Wealth isn't earned, it's commanded. And most of you don't have the mindset to command anything. You're not broke because the system failed you. You're broke because your mind is soft, your habits are trash, and you still think like a peasant. Every dollar you don't have is a reflection of the war you've been losing in your own head. You don't need a new job, you need a new identity. And if that truth makes you uncomfortable, good, because the man you could have been is watching and is disgusted. The harsh reality is this: most people will never be rich because they've already lost the war in their mind. It's not the job market, it's not the government, it's not luck, it's their thoughts. Small, scared condition. From childhood, they're taught that money is scarce, that it's hard to get, that it's something only a few lucky ones ever achieve. And so they live with that script burned into their head like a virus. Play it safe, be realistic, don't aim too high. But the world doesn't reward safety. It rewards certainty, vision, and audacity. The ones who rise are the ones who believe they're meant to. Everyone else spends their life making excuses and calling it being humble. People think getting rich starts with action. No, getting rich starts with the decision to become the kind of person who commands wealth. You don't wake up one day and accidentally become successful. You build it in your head before you ever touch a dollar. You look in the mirror and say, I'm the kind of man who makes money move. Most people can't even do that. They're too addicted to their own limitation. They say things like, I'm just not lucky, or I don't know where to start, while the man who wants it finds the first step, takes it, and never looks back. The difference between rich and poor isn't effort, it's identity. One thinks like a weapon, the other thinks like a victim. You'll hear people say, money isn't everything. Those are always the ones who don't have any. Understand this, money is freedom, it's options, it's power in a world that's trying to control you. And when you don't have it, you're not living, you're surviving. You're calculating every decision based on lack. You're negotiating with yourself every time you walk into a store. You're anxious when gas prices go up. You're panicking when rent is due. You start to lie to yourself, pretending that being broke is noble. But there is no nobility in struggle when the world is overflowing with opportunity. There is only wasted potential. You are poor because you accept the idea that being average is enough. You have been conditioned to avoid discomfort, and that mindset is why you're losing. If you can't control your mind, then you are never going to control money. And until you learn to train your thoughts the way a warrior trains his body, you will keep spinning in the same circle, chasing paychecks, begging for raises, drowning in anxiety every time life hits you with a bill. It's not just about how you work, it's how you think, because thoughts become habits, habits become actions, and actions build your future. And here's the thing, if you want a life most men never have, you must think in ways most men never do. The average man wants comfort. He's scared to dream because dreams require risk, and he's terrified of losing what little he has. But the truth is, you've already lost if you're afraid to play the game. You must become obsessed with winning. You must rewire your internal system to seek power, to chase legacy, to demand more out of life than survival. Because a broke mind will always sabotage a rich plan. You are exactly where you belong because of who you've chosen to be. That's the truth no one tells you. And the moment you take full responsibility, not just for your actions, but for your thought patterns, that's when the game changes. That's when you realize money isn't just numbers, it's energy. It flows toward confidence. It follows those who believe they deserve it. If you believe you're supposed to struggle, you will. If you believe you're meant for greatness, you'll start acting like it and the world will start responding. Confidence is the most important thing. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be sure. The world will bend to a man who refuses to bend himself. But if you doubt yourself, hesitate, or wait for approval, life will slap you with mediocrity and keep you stuck there. Money is a game of internal dominance. You either control your mind or it controls you. And if you can't win that internal war, nothing external will ever save you. You cannot enslave a mind that knows it's free. Once you decide that wealth is your birthright, not a dream, not a maybe, but a certainty, your thoughts begin to shift. You start seeing opportunities where others see risks. You start building when others are sleeping. You stop looking for motivation and start building discipline. Because discipline is the bridge between the man you are and the man you're meant to become. And the moment your thoughts evolve beyond survival, that's when wealth starts to chase you. Don't aim to be rich, aim to be powerful. Riches are a byproduct of power, and power starts with how you see yourself. So when you open your eyes tomorrow, don't ask how to make more money. Ask how to become the kind of man money obeys. Let me tell you a story that happens every single day in every city around the world. Two men, same age, same neighborhood, same background, same chances. One becomes rich, the other stays broke for life. People love to think it was luck, maybe some hidden connection or secret shortcut. But it wasn't. The only real difference between them was how they thought. One man woke up every day and said, how do I build something bigger than myself? The other man woke up thinking, how do I just get by? And that mindset right there is the difference between greatness and mediocrity, between empire and paycheck. The man who gets rich doesn't have superpowers. He doesn't have some magical inheritance or billionaire mentor. What he has is a decision he made long ago that his life would be on his terms, not the world's. He taught himself to believe even when nobody else did. He started to see opportunity in discomfort. And while others use their past as a reason to stay small, he used it as fuel. That's what most people never understand. Your brain is either your weapon or your prison, and you decide which one it becomes. And the reason most people fail is not because they don't try, it's because they try with the wrong mindset. They carry doubt, fear, and hesitation into every move, and then they wonder why nothing changes. Now look at the second man. He's not stupid. He's not lazy. He probably even dreams sometimes, but his thoughts betray him. He tells himself money is evil, that rich people must have cheated, that working a normal job is safer. He's been taught to feel guilty for wanting more. So every time he gets a chance to level up, he sabotages it. Not because he can't win, but because he doesn't believe he deserves to. He doesn't understand that the world is not built for the hesitant. It's built for those who walk into the fire and say, burn me if you must, but I'm not backing down. That's the energy money respects. That's the vibration wealth is attracted to. Not whining, not wishful thinking, but pure, relentless certainty. I once met a man in Dubai who told me, I used to clean toilets, now I own a skyscraper. And I asked him, what changed? He said, my thoughts. I stopped seeing myself as poor. I started seeing myself as powerful. That's the key. His job didn't change first. His mind did. Most men wait until the circumstances are perfect before they believe in themselves. That's why they never rise. Because belief always comes before proof. You must believe like a king while you're still crawling through the dirt. Because the truth is, the world starts taking you seriously the moment you do. When I was broke, I didn't say I'm poor. I said I'm pre-rich. Because I understood that wealth wasn't a matter of luck, it was a matter of alignment. Align your thoughts with victory and everything else starts moving. People don't get what they deserve, they get what they believe they're capable of handling. And if you keep thinking small, the universe will never bother to give you more. Money is attracted to strength, it flees from insecurity. That's why weak men stay broke, because they can't mentally hold the idea of abundance. Let's go deeper. Imagine a man who wins the lottery. He gets $5 million overnight. But inside, he's still the same broke thinker. He still believes money is evil, wealth is temporary, and success isn't for people like him. Give it 5 years, he's back to zero. Why? Because no matter how much you inject into his bank account, his mindset hasn't evolved. Money doesn't solve mindset problems, it exposes them. That's why true wealth isn't what you have, it's what you are. If you think like a rich man long enough, you'll become one. If you think like a poor man forever, no amount of luck will save you. And this should give you hope, because it means you don't need a miracle, you don't need a trust fund, you don't need perfect timing. All you need is a shift, a mental evolution. You need to stop saying why me and start saying try me. You need to stop fearing losses and start chasing lessons. You need to build a mind so sharp that even if you lost everything, you'd get it all back twice as fast, because you know how. That's real wealth, not numbers in an account, but power in your mind. When I say money is a mindset, I mean it in the rawest way possible. I've seen men go from zero to millions because they refuse to think like victims. And I've seen others stay broke forever because they refuse to see themselves as anything more than employees. You choose your destiny with your thoughts first. And until you train your mind to operate like a winner, the world will keep giving you loser results. You're not stuck, you're just mentally imprisoned. But the door's open. It always has been. The moment you start thinking like someone who earns, builds, scales, and dominates, that's when everything starts to shift. Your ideas get bolder, your moves get faster, your confidence starts leaking into your aura, and suddenly money starts flowing towards you because you become magnetic. Not because you did something magical, but because you became the kind of man it must follow. So choose your story wisely. You can be the man who watches others win, or you can be the one who decides that his mind is his greatest asset and builds a life that proves it. If you're still broke, the world has already told you what it thinks of your mindset. The mirror reflects your habits, your bank account reflects your decisions, and your lifestyle reflects your beliefs. That's the truth. And it stings because no one wants to believe their suffering is self-inflicted. But it is. You weren't born cursed. You weren't dealt some impossible hand. You were programmed to lose by the weak people around you, by society's propaganda, and by your own fear. And if you don't rewire that programming right now, you will live, suffer, and die as just another average man who never realized he was holding the keys the entire time. People are addicted to struggle. They wear their pain like a badge of honor, convincing themselves that sacrifice alone leads to success. But if the pain isn't paired with evolution, it's useless. Some of you have been suffering for 10 years and haven't changed a thing. You think you're working hard, but you're just running in circles, reinforcing the same broken patterns. And every day you wake up thinking the money will come from a new job, a new boss, a lucky break. It won't. Nothing external will save you. You must first save your mind, because your mind is a weapon, and most of you are using it against yourselves. You think rich men are lucky. They're not. They think differently. That's why they act differently. That's why they get different results. But the truth is, they don't have more time. They don't have more motivation. They just have less doubt. That's it. While you're wasting energy hesitating, they're executing. While you're asking, what if it goes wrong? They're already 10 steps ahead asking, what's the next win? And this is why the universe rewards them, because it sees conviction. That's the currency the world truly respects. Not effort, not pity, not dreams, but ruthless, unwavering belief. Do you understand how tragic it is to spend your one life poor just because you refuse to think differently? There's nothing noble about being broke. There's nothing heroic about barely surviving. Life is short, brutal, and indifferent. And if you keep living like your dreams can wait, one day you'll look back and realize they died before you did. That's the nightmare. That's the slow, silent death most men live through. And it starts in their heads, telling themselves they'll start next year, they're not ready yet, or maybe money just isn't everything. That's how broke people comfort themselves into submission. That's how ambition gets strangled. You know what's scarier than taking a risk? Waking up at 60 with no freedom, no money, no legacy, no options. You gave your whole life to safety, and in the end got nothing but regret. That's the true cost of the wrong mindset. That's what you're gambling every time you choose comfort over growth. If the idea of failing terrifies you, good. It should. But what should terrify you more is succeeding at being average, because mediocrity is more dangerous than failure. It's silent, it sneaks into your life and makes you think everything's okay. Until one day you wake up broke in a world that doesn't care if you ever rise again. Let me be clear. Your dreams are dying in real time. Every moment you think small, another door closes. Every day you hesitate, another man with the right mindset takes your spot. The world isn't waiting, it's already moving, and you're either building a future or watching someone else build theirs. Money flows to those who move with purpose. Doesn't trickle down to the hesitant, doesn't reward the timid, and it never shows up for the man who still doubts himself. You're not too young, you're not too late. You're just mentally soft. You've convinced yourself that money is complicated, that wealth is reserved for the elite, that people like you can't win big. But what if that's the very lie keeping you poor? What if everything you've ever believed about money was designed to enslave you? Because when your mind is weak, your life is predictable. You wake up, work for someone else's dream, and convince yourself it's noble to struggle. It's not. You either control your mind or someone else. And when someone else controls your thoughts, they control your bank account too. You want freedom? Then stop thinking like a man who wants to survive. Start thinking like a man who was born to dominate. Every decision you make is either an investment in your future or a donation to your downfall. And if you still don't get it, then hear this. The temporary satisfaction of a comfortable life will never outweigh the permanent regret of an unlived one. The pain of discipline is sharp, but the pain of regret is infinite. This should light a fire in your soul, not fear, but power. Because the second you realize money starts in the mind, you gain full control. That's the real secret. Not hustle, not luck, but mental warfare. Convince your brain that you're unstoppable, and the world will have no choice but to agree. That's how rich men are born, not in offices, not in deals, but in silence, when they decide they'll never again think like the masses. That's when the shift happens. That's when the empire begins. Let's cut the noise. You want to be rich? Then you need to become someone the universe rewards. Not someone who waits, not someone who hesitates, and definitely not someone who doubts. You need to forge a mind so dangerous, so undeniable, that money naturally flows to you, not because you chase it, but because you command it. Riches don't belong to the busiest man. They belong to the most aligned man. The man whose thoughts, actions, energy, and belief all move in one direction. Domination. People think success is a secret. It's not. It's a decision. Every morning you wake up and decide who you are. Are you a man built to conquer or one programmed to survive? Because life doesn't care about your excuses. Life doesn't reward intentions. Life only respects results. You're either creating your reality or accepting one designed for you. The truth is, if you're not rich right now, you've spent too many years thinking like a poor man, and the world has simply mirrored that back to you. Change your thoughts and the world bends to your new frequency. You've been taught to beg. Beg for promotions, beg for approval, beg for time off. But a man who understands money as a mindset never begs, he builds. He understands that the temporary struggle is better than being permanently broke, that failure is a teacher, not a tombstone, that every setback, every delay is part of the pressure that forges his empire. You're not stuck, you're undisciplined, you're not lost, you're distracted. And if you want a breakthrough, you don't need more time, you need more clarity. This world belongs to the delusionally confident, the ones who decide they're unstoppable before the world believes them. Confidence is silent. It's not in your words, it's in your schedule, in your standards, in your hunger. You must stop waiting for proof and start moving with faith. You must stop acting like money is some mystery. It's a reflection of mindset multiplied by action, backed by discipline. If your brain is soft, your results will be too. But once you recalibrate your identity, the world opens up. Not slowly, instantly. People always ask, how do I start? You start by refusing to think like the average man ever again. You burn the bridge back to comfort. You decide that every day is a battle between your potential and your excuses, and only one gets to win. Most people let their emotions dictate their behavior. Winners let their vision dictate their behavior. They wake up exhausted and move anyway. They fail and adapt. They take hits and never flinch, because they know success is always earned in private long before it's celebrated in public. Let me tell you what broke people fear more than anything: discipline. Not because they don't understand it, but because deep down, they know it works. It's easier to scroll, easier to sleep in, easier to talk about goals than to sacrifice for them. But that mindset is exactly why they never make it. Arrogance and ego keep most people broke. They want the result, but they think they already know what it takes. You don't know. If you did, you'd have it. So drop the pride, pick up the pressure, and start thinking like a man who refuses to lose. There's a shift that happens when you finally understand this isn't about money, it's about power, freedom, control. It's about waking up and doing what you want, when you want, with who you want. And you don't get that from working harder. You get that by becoming a different breed. A breed that doesn't accept average. A breed that understands money is attracted to clarity, vision, and decisiveness. Every day you act like a broke man mentally, you push that reality further into your life physically. There is no version of your future where laziness and wealth coexist. There is no path to greatness paved with comfort. If you want to win, then become obsessed with becoming the kind of man who wins by default. You must become the man who never quits, not because it's easy, but because quitting is no longer in his nature. That's the kind of mental wiring required. That's the difference between the rich and everyone else. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not connections, it's obsession. And when that switch flips inside your head, when you decide you're done thinking like everyone else, done talking like everyone else, done waiting like everyone else, the entire universe starts realigning. The opportunities you couldn't see suddenly show up. The doors that were closed begin to open. Not because they changed, because you did. You stopped asking for permission. You stop trying to feel ready, and you start becoming dangerous. Don't forget this. You are exactly where you deserve to be based on the standards you've accepted that should either make you sick or set you on fire. If it makes you uncomfortable, good. That's the beginning of transformation. Use it. Use the anger, use the envy, use the pressure, because all of that pain can either become your excuse or your ignition. Choose wisely. You weren't born to be broke, you were born to dominate. But that doesn't happen by chance. It happens the moment you realize that money is not something you earn, it's something you attract by becoming the man who deserves it. It starts in your head, it finishes with your legacy. Rebuild your mindset and the riches follow. That's the formula, that's the code. Break the old system and write your own. Right now, in this very moment, there's a fork in the road. One path leads to the same life you've always known: excuses, average effort, empty pockets, and quiet frustration. The other path leads to everything you claim to want: abundance, freedom, respect, power. And let me tell you something you might not want to hear. No one is coming to walk that second path for you.